Hello, my name's Gabby. I'm a BCB Associate Artist and I'm doing a video demonstration today as part of their online learning programme Clay at Home. The demonstration is going to cover kind of basic tile making techniques and the subject of the tiles is going to be based on our experiences from the past few months. So think about objects that might be meaningful to you. You might be inspired by your daily walk. You might want to celebrate your loved ones. So think about those things if you decide to take part, and I hope you enjoy. So for the materials list, you'll need a lump of clay, air drying clay or salt dough. You'll need some kind of rolling pin, a cloth, a ruler, pens or pencils, a pin tool or something sharp enough to cut through the clay, a paintbrush, some paints. So just start rolling out your clay, flipping it every so often, making sure you're rolling out both sides equally. You might find you get some air bubbles, so you just pierce them with a pointed tool and carry on rolling. Once the slab's about 1 centimetre thick, just measure out your tiles on the surface. I did mine at 8.5 centimetres by 8.5, and I did 4 of them just because I was demonstrating the 4 techniques. For the first technique, we're going to impress things onto the surface of the tile. I'm just using some things that I collected on my daily walk. So just arrange those bits onto the surface of the tile and then use the rolling pin to gently roll them into the surface. And then once you've rolled them in, just use the pointed tool to remove the plants from the surface. And you can see that it actually picks up quite a lot of detail. So for the next technique, I was looking at the work of the sculptor Ruth Duckworth. She makes these amazing large murals, and I was just picking up on some of those textures on her work, which reminded me a little bit like leaves or petals. Use the leftover clay from around the tiles to start forming the textures. Just use your fingers and start thinning out with your thumb and your palm. And if any bits start to tear, just go with that and use that as your fine edges, which will become part of the decoration on the tile. And start adding the petals to the tile just at the bottom of each petal. You can move it around a little bit until it starts to grip. Just scoring the surface and just dipping the bottom of each petal in a bit of water and then putting it on the surface of the tile will help it stick a bit better. And keep adding the petals to the surface. You can use a tool just to help blend the edges into the tile. And then for the next technique, we're going to just be painting directly onto the tile. I've added a charm here, but you could easily make letters and spell out, a loved one's name or something. I was also looking at Delftware tiles for inspiration around this. So just choose your base colour of paint. I went for a white base like those Delft tiles that we just saw. And then just using your finger or a paintbrush, just paint it directly onto the clay surface. And you can start drawing directly into that, just using a pen or a pencil. And you can also try finding things around the house to press textures into the tile. I'm just using a bottom of a shell here. And then for the final tile, I wanted to make some little carved charms, which were quite symbolic to me and to my loved ones and, my experiences over the last few months. Think about things that might mean something to you. So just use the leftover clay from around the tiles and just form the basic shape with your fingers. And then you can use tools to add in the detail. You could use a carving tool or just a pen or a pencil will do the same thing. And then once you finish carving it, just smooth off the surface with a paintbrush and water and just secure those to the tile with the same scoring technique that we used on the second tile with all the petals. And then now the tiles have had some time to harden whilst we've been working on them, so they should be okay to cut out with a needle tool or like a cutlery knife or something. And I'm just adding in a bit of colour to that third tile now the white paint has dried. And that's it. So thank you so much for watching. Please share your masterpieces with us by tagging BCB on any of our social media channels and also using the hashtag #ClayAtHome. Thanks.